situation, and on the newsfeed of Snapchat, there's all of these sexual articles, 101 ways to thrill the man. There's Kylie Jenner half naked, you name it, it's out there. It is for our teens to see. So there was a petition that was signed to take all of these images and these articles off. And they got like 25,000 signatures, but there's still all of these things up. So I'm not happy. I think that what the petition did was you can get like your parent to go in and control some of the things that you're seeing, but even if those kids don't have parents who are going to care enough, they're still seeing articles like this that say, learn how to sext like a cool girl. Wow, if we didn't know before. So I couldn't get through this whole article because I was like, this is just awful. So it says, sexting is an important life skill. Didn't know that. If the ability to pen a beautiful love letter got our grandparents, the girl, today having a baller sexting game can be the difference between a Tinder match that goes nowhere and being able to actually touch a person in real life. High stakes, people. But sexting is not only for new lovers, 16-year-olds, and politicians and their mistresses, it can also improve your long-term relationships. And it's no simple task. In order to compete in today's sexting world, you have to be the right combination of witty and dirty. You have to get the pacing right, and most importantly, you have to master the sexy selfie. Are you kidding me? What do you guys think of this?
Burn it.
Lame. So lame. This is what our culture is telling us that love is. That if you love somebody, you send them these pictures. And that's not love. That's actually lust. And the Catechism of the Catholic Church defines lust, again, hashtag Catholic nerd, as sexual greediness. Using somebody as a means to an end. That's not the type of love that we're made for. I have this friend, Kathy, who went to Temple. And when she was at Temple, she was dating this older guy. And he was post-college, and he was older. She was like, he's older, he has a car, he's good looking, he's cute, I'm cute. This whole thing is going to be cute. And she noticed that when they hung out, that she was always the one initiating the hangouts. And anytime they did hang out, there was always alcohol involved. And time went by, and he would start to comment on the way that she dressed. He's like, why don't you dress like her? Meaning wearing next to nothing. And she was like, that's kind of weird. And he never asked about her family, never cared about anything that she was interested in. It was always just how she looked on his arm. And she was like, I wonder when he's actually going to tell me that he loves me. But that day never came because that was a lustful relationship. And so when we're in the classrooms and we're giving these talks, we want to meet the students where they're at. And we always tell them, apply the love test, right? Take sex out of the relationship and see what's left. So Jason Everett, we bring him up all the time. And he gives these assemblies. One girl comes up to him after a talk, and she's like, my older boyfriend, I don't know if he really loves me or cares about me. He makes me wear this necklace. Jason said, why don't you take sex out of the relationship, tell him you're not going to sleep with him anymore, and watch what happens. And so 5 minutes goes by, and she comes back beaming. And he's like, what happened? And she's like, I dumped him. And he's like, okay, that was fast. Well, tell me what happened. And she's like, well, I told him I wouldn't have sex with him anymore. So he slammed the locker shut. He threw a book at me. And then he said, where's your necklace? And she said, I gave it to the chastity guy. And Jason's over there in the corner like, hi. But it's the love test. Take sex out of the relationship and see what's left. That's the beauty of this chastity. Is it frees you to love, and it frees you to know if you are being loved. And hopefully you don't have to get to that point, because the point is to protect your heart. That we don't want a broken heart. That's why if people are living out the virtue of chastity, I tell them, if the teens are, keep going. You're on the right track. Make good choices. And we're out in front of Planned Parenthoods week after week. 12th and Locust, we've been out there. Every week, standing, sidewalk counseling, handing women, telling them you have options, men and women, telling them you have options. You don't have to settle. And the women going in, they're like, oh, I'm not pregnant. I'm just going in for birth control. I'm like, oh, I'm like, you still don't get it. You have options. That if people truly understood how amazing they are, if they truly understood what a gift they are and how awesome each and every one of us is, they would not want to give themselves away to just anybody, right? If they truly knew this, they would not want to give themselves away to anybody. That they would want that forever type of love. That we need to understand what sex is, and that our bodies speak a language. So there's this movie, Vanilla Sky, and one of the characters in it, she says, don't you know that whenever you have sex with somebody, you make a promise to her with your body, whether you do or not? And that's what sex communicates. And my friend Mary is getting married in May. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? When she gets married, she's still living out the virtue of chastity. And until they both get to the church, until, like, when Brendan proposed to her, that was just a promise, right? That was just a promise from somebody she loves dearly. But it's not the real thing. So until they get to the church and they say vows in front of friends, in front of family, in front of God Almighty himself, then that would be the moment where they're pretty much saying, I don't want anyone else but you. You are all that I want. That's the type of love we're made for. Then that would be the appropriate time where you would say, now that you have forsaken all other people on the planet, I will now give all of me to you. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. And that's the type of love we're made for. And that's what I want these women going into the clinics to know. They're made for more. So that's why we're doing the work that we're doing and why we're in the classroom, telling people about their dignity. It's important. So our bodies speak a language, just like I mentioned with the Vanilla Sky situation. So it's a free, total, faithful, fruitful gift. That's the language that sex communicates. So when Mary gets married, she's going to get to the altar, and that's a free gift of herself. Nobody coerced her into being there that I know of. That's a free gift. Her and Brendan give themselves freely. It's free, it's total. They give all of themselves to each other. Their student loans, their 401k, right? You know about that. Student loans, their last name, bad hair days, good moods, bad moods, all of those things. It's a total. All of me loves all of you, just like the John Legend song, right? All of me loves all of you. I like to think I can sing, but I can't. Free, total, faithful. They are practicing chastity. They're going to prepare to have a stable marriage. Free, total, faithful, and then fruitful, open to the gift of life. They're not aborting. They're open to their family life and what can come from that. Free, total, faithful, fruitful. And our brains actually have a hormone called oxytocin, right? And oxytocin is called a bonding hormone. Scientists call it human superglue. You didn't think you'd be learning about oxytocin today, did you? Well, you're at a chastity talk, so. Human superglue. It binds you and it blinds you. It binds you. What do I mean by that? Oxytocin is released in the most abundant amounts during childbirth, breastfeeding, and sexual intercourse, right? So that's why a mom is inclined to get up at 4 in the morning and feed her baby, because there's a bond there. She's bonded to her family. It binds you and blinds you. Great in marriage, not so great when you're dating somebody. Because things that would normally be a red flag, you're not able to see. Great in marriage because our significant others, just ask any married couple, you guys are there forever. There's this quote from a kid, May, she says, God decides all beforehand who you're gonna marry. And later on, you just find out who you're stuck with. That's the beauty and the truth of marriage, that you're with that person every day. And your personalities are gonna do this. And you're gonna get on each other's nerves. So great in marriage because it masks your partner's flaws. Not so great when you're dating somebody, because dating is supposed to be a time of discernment. You're supposed to see how this person behaves around their friends and if that's the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. But when you're sleeping with somebody outside of marriage, things that would normally be a red flag, like, oh my gosh, he looks at pornography. Oh my gosh, he flirts with other girls. Oh my gosh, you guys don't really have anything in common. Why are you dating in the first place? You're not able to see. So that's why there's a plan for our sexuality and why there's an order to things. And a lot of times people think that chastity is the repression of our desires. And that's not the case. That desire is good, and it was put in you for a reason. That's a good desire, but chastity is the reordering of that desire. And that the culture will say that the church and things like that are down on sex. That it's just a list of rules, and it's more like one big yes, right? It's one big yes. It's a yes to real love. And chastity unveils the truth to that. And the culture fails to see its glory. The culture fails to see that, and chastity glorifies sex, but the culture fails to see its glory. And just giving these talks and things like that, one time I was in New York, and a girl comes up to me, and something that we try and drive home until we're blue in the face, literally, is that you can start over. That it doesn't matter. The beauty of chastity is that it's not just a one and done thing, that you can start over. That it doesn't matter about the past. And it's like having people like Jason and Crystalina, and my own testimony. You can start over. And to be able to share this with people, that you don't, and in the pro-life movement, you don't have to settle. You can change and do something different and be a better person. It's not just a one and done situation. We were in Staten Island in October giving retreats up there, and we felt like we drove it home in these chastity talks. You can start over. The whole talk was like, just live chastity, until we were blue in the face, and we did a Q&A section. And we got so many questions that said, is it too late for me? And it's just not sticking. And that's the lie, that it is too late. But that's a lie. And it's by having people in my own life, like Leah Darrow. Do you guys know who she is? Oh, she's amazing. She's one of my heroes. And whenever I was coming back to living this virtue of chastity and turning my life around and getting out of that party scene, my dad had showed me Leah Darrow, and he was like, Jace, check out this model girl. And I'm like, what's that? And just hearing her story and how she was on America's Next Top Model, and she was living in New York as a fashion model thereafter, and actually got to go to Rome with her. Side note, but I totally geek out about her too. She's great. And just hearing her own story, that she was living this lifestyle, and she was doing everything by the culture standards that you were supposed to do if you were, wanting to be happy. She had the job, the big modeling job she had paychecks that had a comma in them, but she wasn't happy in all that. She had made it in the eyes of the world. She had arrived, but she was empty. And she was cohabitating with her boyfriend and going to Planned Parenthood for her birth control and partying on the weekends. And she was not happy. So she decided, you know what, enough is enough. And she changed her life. And now she travels the world speaking about authentic love and authentic beauty. And it's by having those people, examples in our lives, that we can point people to and say, look, she did it. You can do it too. If she can start over, you can too. And she really gives hope to other people. And that's a beautiful thing. And one thing that I want to say is, like, with Leah and that lifestyle and stuff, there are enough women in our world today who do not know their dignity, who do not know their worth, and I was one of them, believe me, so I'm not pointing the finger, and who do not know that they are enough. We do not need any more of these women. We need women who are going to be the people that they are called to be, and that I know everyone in here is, because you're here trying to change hearts and minds, and who are going to become the people that you're called to be and do something different and make a difference in the world. And you can be those people. And to the fellows, you are called to greatness as well. You have a voice in this movement, and you can teach girls. You can raise men to a higher standards, and the fellows, you can teach the women a thing or two about respect as well. We both help each other out. St. John Paul II, who is the man, he says that the more love there is, the greater the love there is, the more responsibility there is. And we can both help each other out in that. So we both have a role in human dignity and in living this lifestyle of chastity out. So I just want to close with a quick story of my friend Mary, who's getting married in May. Yeah, it does. Actually, it's about this woman named Donna. And Donna was engaging in some risky behavior with her boyfriend as a senior in college. And Donna wound up pregnant. And so she's scared as a senior in high school, not college, sorry. She's a senior in high school, and she goes to her dad, and she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, I thought you were smarter than that. And she's just like, I need your support. And he's like, well, Donna, you can do one of two things. One, you can either have the abortion, or two, you can have this baby, and you can put your dreams of going to college on hold for now. And Donna, after wrestling with what to do, she chooses life. Amazing, right? She chose life. She didn't know her baby. She didn't know what her baby would be capable of. She made an act of love, right? We were talking about love earlier. She made an act of love for this new baby, and she chose life. And now, not far away, not far from that time, in Massachusetts, another girl, a 16-year-old girl, wound up pregnant, and she was wrestling with this idea of having an abortion, and she chooses life too. And I'm glad that both of those women did, because that's Mary and Brendan, and they're both getting married in May. And they both went to Marywood University in Scranton and met, had this beautiful friendship, and after graduation started dating, and they're engaged, and they're getting married. Mm-hmm. So there is a plan in the unplanned, the beautiful gift of life. And now Mary and Brendan are going to get married, and they're going to populate the world. And it's just going to be awesome. So that's why we speak about this virtue, is that there's a plan in the unplanned. And again, it doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what you've done, what has happened. All that matters is where you go from here. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much.